quitting our jobs to move to Orlando. How can we afford it? Find out next.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Dan and Leslie here again with another video about moving to Orlando, something that we are excited to do, something that we are doing within the year, something that we are nervous about doing as well. So
yes.
If you have been here before and have already subscribed, thank you so much. If this is your first time here, we hope that you consider subscribing. If you like what you see, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. It helps us to reach more people. A little bit about us. We have a Disney-centric podcast called Addicted to the Mouse that we publish twice weekly. If you like our content, please check us out there as well.
Yeah, and we also have a travel agency, Fantastical Vacations. So if you are looking to travel to the Orlando area or really anywhere else, please check that out also.
So let's back up just a little bit. We are quitting our jobs to move to Orlando to focus on Disney specifically. It's a little bit scary, but we've done a lot of things over the last 2 years that we think have set us up pretty well to make this move. Okay. So just inside of 2 years ago, we started really researching financial independence. And what we wanted to do was financial independence to travel, because that's what is really important to us and our family. We want to expose our kids to new cultures, and we enjoy travel. We enjoy the experience with our family, with our kids, and everything that brings.
Yeah, so we started off by tracking all of our expenses, and I'll say, if you've never done that before, it's very eye-opening. It's an experience that I think everybody should go through at some point, because it's shocking to see the things that you spend your money on whenever you really track every single dollar.
So we've talked about it in other videos about financial independence to travel, but we really focused on three big things. So our housing costs, our transportation, and our food. Those were the biggest expenses by far. Now we did cut other things, but to really get the biggest impact, we focused on cutting our expenses. The reason that we did that is to increase our savings rate, and we got up to around a consistent 60% every month is what we were saving. And we'll talk about why we were saving that much, but that was where we started. So we sold our house, we moved into this house and rented it for 2 years and basically cut our payment in half. Transportation, we paid off the car, and
we sold a bunch of stuff that we looked at as we tried to see the value that it was bringing us versus what it was costing us. And so if it wasn't bringing us the joy that ultimately the traveling more would do, then
over the last year, we wanted to do everything we could to increase our savings rate. So we first looked at cutting expenses, then we looked at creating more income.
So I'm a college instructor. I teach nursing, and then I'm also a travel agent. And so we had grown the travel agency side of it enough that I knew that I needed to cut back on teaching in some fashion. And I could have quit all the way together like that. I could have just focused on the travel agency and not worked in the classroom anymore at all. However, to continually increase our savings rate and save even more, we made the decision that I would stay on part-time so that we could put all of that money towards our savings.
And so this brings up a huge point for this video, in that one of the kind of misnomers for financial independence to retire early, the FIRE movement, a lot of people get wrapped up on the retire early part of that, and that's kind of a misnomer because everyone needs consistent income coming in. So we don't get wrapped up around the retire early. We want to focus on that consistent income coming in. So the travel agency is the side hustle that you started about 6 years ago. It's done really, really well. We focus on Disney, Universal, cruise lines, and some all-inclusive resorts. And you niched down into that and found a great space, especially with our Disney-focused podcast, the Disney-focused YouTube channel. It's been really good, but that kind of set the catalyst that we would have a stream of income coming in once we both quit to, again, originally our goal was to travel the world. It has since morphed with the pandemic to move to Orlando. But we knew that we were not going to have full-time jobs. We knew that we had to have income coming in. So the biggest takeaway is that if this is something that you want to do, try to create a side hustle early on that can continue to support you when you do quit.
Yeah, so everybody looks at us like we're a little bit crazy.
We are a little bit crazy.
When we say that, Dan is going to quit his really good full-time job that he has. We're moving to Orlando and he is going to work in the agency with me. And they look at us like we might have lost our minds just a little bit. But rest assured, we have planned very well for this.
The way that we look at this is through different pots of money. So we increase the savings rate substantially, and that allows us to fund these different pots of money. The first being a down payment on a house. So we want to keep our housing costs still low like we do now. In Orlando specifically, if you can put a down payment on a house, you can get something that will actually be comparable to renting down there. So I feel like that is the smartest move there. We also have a pot of money for moving costs and some furniture. We'll probably go with like IKEA furniture. When we get down there, we have a little pot of money to keep our car running or upgrade, maybe not upgrade, but get a newer car when we get there. And then finally, the last pot of money is the runway.
Worked very, very hard to basically have a 3-year runway is what we will have by the time we move, so that if we got down there and I don't know, nobody decided that they ever wanted to travel again, then we would have 3 years to figure that out and find new jobs.
So the idea is that we get down there and this side hustle becomes the main source of income for us, and this allows us to be financially independent to travel, not retired, not working, not earning any money anymore, but independent from a location. So being able to run a business from anywhere in the world, once we do end up traveling internationally again, being able to run the business next to our favorite place on earth, Disney, and being able to pick up and come back and visit our family and friends here in Oklahoma where we live was really important to us. And that is the biggest thing that we have done over the last 2 years that has really enabled this to happen.
Yeah, so we are focusing more, instead of it being retire early, we are focusing more on liberating our time and our location, basically. We want that freedom to be able to do what we want when we want to do it, and be able to do it where we want.
Going back to the side hustle, going back to the consistent income that is allowing us to quit our full-time jobs here and go to follow our dreams in Orlando, getting that side hustle, getting that consistent income is hugely important. And there are 3 big things that we have found are the keys to making it a reality for us. So the first is that it is something that we love to do.
Yes. We love to plan vacations. We love to go to Disney World. We love to go to Universal. We love traveling with our families, and we absolutely love sharing that passion with other people and helping them make those memories and create that magic with their own families.
The second is that it is location independent. We've already mentioned that. And the third thing that is hugely important for this side hustle of ours is that it's scalable and it can grow along with us. And then the last piece of this that is allowing us to afford to be able to quit our jobs here and move to Orlando is the fact that we have not lost sight of what we started 2 years ago, in that we make our expenses reasonable with respect to what our income is.
Yes, so we sit down twice a month. We fill out our crazy spreadsheet. If you want it, please email. We will gladly send you a blank one for you to use. But we fill that out twice a month and plug in all of our expenses so that we can maintain our accountability and continue to see where maybe areas are that we could do better, so that we can continue to save and make these dreams come true.
We're very cognizant that Orlando is a more expensive cost of living than it is here in Oklahoma, so we are preparing for that. That's why we want a larger runway to get down there and to be able to scale the agency up a little bit to support our living expenses. We also know that we are going to want and need to come back to visit family and friends here in Oklahoma a couple of times a year. So we are planning to do things like drive back rather than fly back. But again, that goes back to being able to have a side hustle that's location independent. So it doesn't really matter. We can work on the road just as easy as we can work from Orlando.
So having the freedom of time allows us to travel in off-peak times now instead of always having to travel at the most expensive times when everybody else is traveling. So while we definitely value our children's education and keeping them in school as much as possible, we also value our vacation experiences and the memories that we make there and the exposure that they get. And so we don't worry so much about maybe pulling them out of school for a few days so that we can take advantage of those off-peak times.
So all of that being said, when people ask us how we can afford to quit our full-time jobs and move to Orlando to be close to Disney, it all boils down to a few simple things. Number one, we started early on in the process and saved as much as we possibly could, which consisted of two things: cutting expenses as much as we felt was reasonable for us and making as much income as we could over those 2 years. And the key to that is starting a side hustle that could grow into a sustainable income when we did quit.
I think another huge key to all of that is being aligned with each other. And we stayed very focused on our ultimate end goal. So even the things that were a little bit more challenging to cut, or we wish we could do XYZ, whatever it might be, we just helped each other stay focused on where we were headed.
And then last but not least, it is enjoyable. We love doing what we do. We are excited to get there. We're excited to work even harder than we work on our full-time jobs on this side hustle that we are trying to grow into something really, really great. And it's exciting. It's exciting to quit, to go work harder at something that is not a given.
Something that you absolutely love. So there you have it. Those are the steps that we took to be able to afford to quit our jobs, move to Orlando, move to Disney. We are beyond excited. If you ever would like to reach out and tell us your dreams of quitting your job and starting something like this, and want any tips, or just want somebody who is like-minded, because there's not many of us, I guess, feel free to reach out. We would love to communicate with you. You can reach us at danandleslie@addictedtothemouse.com.
That's right, and we look forward to taking you along this journey with us. We'll be back next week with another video.